Welcome to Power Yoga. To start our yoga practice, come to a seated position. Come to something comfortable. Cross your legs, or maybe even keep them uncrossed here. As we begin our practice today, we really want to get into the breath. Here, close your eyes. Put your hands on your knees. You can put them palm up if you're looking for more energy, or put them palm down if you want to feel more grounded. As we sit here, start to train your breath by constricting the throat. So you're really vocalizing that breath. This should be an audible breath. You can hear every inhale, and you sigh out every exhale. Here on the mat, let go of all of your to-do lists. Let go of all of your regrets, all of your thoughts, all of your daydreams, desires, and wishes. And instead, stick with your breath so that you may be here in the present. It is with the breath that we learn how to control our mind. And in controlling our mind, we find the pathway to enlightenment. Let's stay here for 10 more breaths. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, softly open the eyes, and we'll begin our practice on the mat. Our practice is a power yoga flow. You will be using the breath, using your breath to train your mind and train your body. Keep that breath with you throughout every movement. It is these breaths that will help you struggle with these movements, struggle with these postures. It is the breath that will help you balance, will help you give you strength. And so for this power yoga, we can really visualize every inhale, inhaling all of this power, so that we can exhale and shine all of our strength. Visualize that as we begin our practice down on the mat. Come down into child's pose. Child's pose means you have your big toes touching in the back here. Your knees are spread wide. Bring your upper body all the way down to the mat. Stretch those arms in front of you. Bring your forehead down to the mat. Ground here, root here. Let those hips open. Let the stress that you hold in your back start to fall away. Be here, presently, on the mat. On your next inhale, come up into tabletop. Tabletop means your body should look like a table. Your wrists are right under your shoulders. Your knees are directly under your hips. Your spine is neutral. We're going to warm up that spine now by arching it like a cat all the way up. Inhale deeply here, gaze up, and now shift your gaze down. Arch your back the other way to look like an architectural piece right here. Gaze towards your navel. On your next inhale, inhale up to that arch again. Really stretching your back. Look up and now look down towards your navel. Arch your back as much as you can, even feeling it through the shoulders here. One more time, inhale up, gaze up. Now gaze down to the navel. Arch, arch, arch. And now bring that spine back to a neutral spine, back to tabletop. From here, tuck your toes under, lift those hips all the way back into downward facing dog. Be sure that your fingertips are really engaged, pressing into your mat. You can feel the weight all the way through your palms and then even through the four corners of your feet. To make sure we've got our downward facing dog alignment correct, bend your knees here so you really feel that long spine from your fingertips all the way up through your sacrum. You should feel that nice and long right here. What we want to avoid is this sort of giraffe pose. That's actually giraffe. We want to come back here to downward facing dog so that the weight is more on your feet. Once you have your knees bent, your spine long, now start to straighten those legs. If you can, press the heel into the ground there. Here we are, downward facing dog. Start to pedal out your feet here. You can really start to feel the stretch through the Achilles heel, even up through the hamstrings, even through the hips here. We're warming up the body. Now bring both heels down, and on an inhale, shoot that right leg all the way up into the air. Your foot is engaged here. And on an exhale, bend the knee, twist the body to really open up that hip. You should still have long alignment from the fingertips all the way shooting back to the sacrum. Now roll out that ankle here. Inhale, straighten the leg up again, and exhale all the way back down. On your next inhale, inhale the left leg all the way up. Your heel is engaged. Your foot is shining, shooting straight out and back. On an inhale, bend the leg. And on an exhale, open up your body for that really nice hip opening. And here, once again, roll out the ankles. On an inhale, straighten that leg, and on an exhale, float it with control all the way back down to downward facing dog. Shift your gaze between your palms, and now step forward towards your palms, towards the front of the mat. Here we are in forward fold. Your feet are hips width apart, about a fist or maybe 2 fists apart. You're hinging from your waist all the way down. Your hands are touching your shins, your ankles, or maybe even the mat. Pedal out your feet here so you can really, once again, feel that good stretch. Be sure to let go of the head here, let go of the neck. Now grab both elbows here. This is ragdoll pose. You can swing your body from the right to the left as you pedal out your feet. This will really help you let go of any of that stress that was in your lower back and even your shoulders. Now bring the legs still. Bend the legs if that's accessible for you. If not, you can keep the legs bent.
And now on your next exhale, start to roll the body up, letting go of the elbows. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Come all the way up into standing position. Feel the blood drain from your brain, from your head. Roll out the neck here. On an inhale, bring your arms all the way up and overhead. And exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Now that we have the spine warmed up, we can really start our practice. We'll start our practice with a few sun salutations. For sun salutations, bring your big toes to touch. Your heels will be parted about 1 fist apart. Your spine is straight. Your pelvis bone is tucked. Your shoulders are down. Your gaze is up. Inhale your arms overhead. On an exhale, hinge your body all the way forward, swan diving to the mat. Now inhale again. You want to really flatten your back, bring your hands to your shin. You should look like a 90-degree angle right here. On an exhale, bring your body all the way back down to forward fold. Bring your hands to the mat if possible, or as close as they can, while still keeping that back straight. Not hunched over, but straight. If possible, you can even wrap your hands around the back of the calves, the back of the ankles, and start pulling your body forward. Now plant your hands, send that right foot shooting back so that now you're in this long runner's lunge. This will feel really good on your hip right there. And now on your next exhale, shoot that left leg straight back. Now we're in high plank. Check out your position in high plank. Do you have your booty tucked under? Is your gaze slightly up, maybe at a 45-degree angle? Your abdomen should be engaged right now. You should really feel this. You should have a straight line from the very top of your head all the way down through your heels right there. You should really feel that inhale of power and exhale all of your strength. Shine here. Now slowly and with control, we're going to bring our weight all the way down to the mat to a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release that weight onto the mat. Untuck your toes. Make sure your shoulders, shrug them down. Really roll them down here. And now lift your chest using only your back muscles. This is baby cobra pose. Do not gaze up. Instead, keep your spine really neutral right here. Your neck really neutral so that it doesn't stress your neck at all. You should be able to wiggle your fingers here. You have no weight on your hands. On an exhale, tuck your toes and lift all the way up. Try to do so through a push-up position and send those hips back into downward facing dog. On an inhale, inhale that right leg back, keeping that heel engaged. Now take your right knee into your nose. Really, you can even come up on your toe, on your left toe, to try to get your knee and your nose as close as possible. Now shift your gaze to the middle of your hands and plant your foot in the middle of your hands. You're back in this deep runner's lunge here, opening up that hip. Now launch off of your left leg to bring your left foot up to your right foot. We're in forward fold again. Flat back here, hands on shins. Exhale into forward fold. Inhale, stand all the way up on your inhale, hands overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Be sure to shrug out any of that stress that you brought with you. A few cleansing breaths here. Let's do that again. We'll take it a little bit faster this time. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold all the way down to the mat. Inhale, flat back, hands to shin. Exhale, exhale that left leg this time, straight back. Now we're in a deep runner's lunge. Now on your next exhale, shoot that right leg back. We're once again in high plank here. Let's work on our strength, on our abdomen strength, our shoulder strength, our arm strength by staying here for a few breaths. Now on a count of 5, we will slowly and with control begin to come all the way down to the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release your weight onto the mat. Untuck your toes. Now this time we're going to come up into Cobra pose. For this one, you can in fact use your hands to bring your upper body up so that you are in line with your elbows. Your elbows should be bent right here, right in line with your body. Keep your shoulders down. Keep your neck relaxed. And on your next exhale, tuck your toes. Come up into a push-up position and send those hips straight back. Now once again, we're in downward dog. On an inhale, lift that left leg high. Now bring your left knee to your nose. Shift the gaze between the palms and send that left foot right between the hands. Now launch off the right foot to bring that right foot up next to your left foot, and we're in forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a standing position, flying those arms overhead. Bring those shoulders down. And now exhale your hands into prayer position. Shrug out those shoulders twice here. Now we're going to add on to that with another sun salutation. This is Surya Namaskar B. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold here. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, send that right leg straight back. Now we're in a deep runner's lunge right here, opening up that hip. That feels good. Plant the palms down, shoot that left leg back. High plank here. Now to add on, we're going to lower with control, but only halfway. Your body will not touch the mat if you have the strength for it. Ideally, this is Chaturanga pose. You should be all the way off the mat, only halfway down. If you do not have the upper arm strength for this, bring the knees down to help you. Now inhale all the way up into upward facing dog. For upward facing dog, you should have the weight on your hands and on the top of your feet. But otherwise your legs should not touch the mat. On an exhale, send those hips all the way back. Downward facing dog. Now, once again, lift on an inhale that right leg all the way up. On an exhale, plant your right foot between your palms at the front of the mat. We're in that runner's lunge right here. This time, shift your gaze to your back foot. Change your footing position to a 45-degree angle. When you feel you have balance, you have control, bring your upper body and your arms straight up. This is Warrior One. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Be sure that your shoulders are down. You're feeling the stretch, especially through this back leg here. You're strengthening in your right quadricep. Check your alignment here. Yoga is a study in geometry. Check that your knee is directly above your ankle. Check that when you look down, you can see your big toe, maybe that first toe. If you can see more toes than that, then tuck the knee in. If you can't see any toes, then take that knee out a little bit. Be sure that your hips are directly towards the front of the room. they should be square. They should not be quite this way. Make sure that they're all the way to the front, like this. And keep those hands high overhead. Now on an inhale, clasp your hands. Bring the arms back, bring the gaze up. We'll do a mini back bend here. And on an exhale, cartwheel those arms all the way down to the mat. Plant the foot and shoot that other foot, the right foot, back. Now we're in high plank again. Come down now to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up this time. Now, bring that left leg all the way through to plant it right between the hands. You're in a deep runner's lunge now. Now shift your gaze to your back foot. Change your footing so that you're at a 45-degree angle, and when you feel balanced, steady, and ready, bring your upper body and your arms all the way up overhead. Once again, let's check your alignment. Your shoulders are down. Your neck is free. Your knee is directly above your ankle. When you look down, you can see your big toe, maybe that first toe. If you see any more, tuck that knee in. If you see any less, push that knee out. Your hips are directly square, parallel with your front wall, parallel with the front of your mat. Your arms are up and overhead, and you are breathing. You're breathing in power, and you're exhaling strength and shining. Now clasp your hands overhead, bring your arms back, bring your gaze back, mini back bend here. And on an exhale, cartwheel those arms all the way down to the mat. Shoot your left leg back with your right leg. We're in high plank again. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, if you can step forward, or if you feel like you have the strength and ability, bend your legs and open them wide all the way down into a squat. Shift your gaze to the middle of your palms. And now, with control, jump forward to the top of your mat. This should be a light jump. We shouldn't sound like elephants. We should sound like ballerina fairies up here. Pedal out those legs. Good forward fold here. Inhale, flat back, hands on shin. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way to a standing position, Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, hands on shins. Exhale, left leg shoots back, runner's lunge right here. On your next exhale, right leg shoots back, high plank. On your next exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now shoot that right leg high. And send your foot right in between your palms. You're in a deep runner's lunge again. Change your gaze to your back foot. Change your footing to a 45-degree angle. And when you are ready and steady, come up into warrior one. Clasp your hands, move your arms back, change the gaze. Look up, mini back bend, cartwheel the arms all the way down. Shoot your right leg back, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, send your left leg up. Now put that left foot planted right in the middle of your palms, deep runner's lunge. Shift your gaze to your back foot. Change that footing to a 45-degree angle, and when you're ready, steady, come up for warrior one. Clasp the hands, send your gaze up, send your arms back, mini back bend here. Now cartwheel the arms overhead. Come back, shoot that left leg back to your right leg, high plank here. On an exhale, chaturanga. On an inhale, upward facing dog. On an exhale, downward facing dog. Now you can step or jump to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Flat back, hands to shin. On an inhale. On an exhale, forward fold. On an inhale, come all the way up to standing, Tadasana, mountain pose. Shift those shoulders down. And on an exhale, bring those hands back to heart center. Shrug out your shoulders here. Opposite way. Now that we are warmed up, we've lit the fire, and we have our muscles heated up, we can go into some standing and balancing postures. To do that, we'll go through the same flow and then add on. Follow me here. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold, swan dive all the way down to the mat. Inhale, flat back, hands on chin. Exhale, send that right leg straight back to a runner's lunge. Exhale, your left leg straight back, high plank. Exhale again, on your next exhale rather. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up. And then bring your right leg all the way through and plant it between your hands. Deep runner's lunge here. Shift your gaze to your back foot. Change the footing so that your stance is a 45-degree angle. And when you're ready, steady, come up for warrior one. Shrug those shoulders down. Breathe here. Clasp the hands. Send the arms back, the gaze up. Mini back bend. And now open up those arms. Move that stance back. Widen your stance here so that you are now in warrior two. Check your angles here. You should have a 90-degree angle between where your ankle is, your knees directly above your ankle. You can see one or two toes. That's it. You should feel the burn right in here. This is the power. Widen that stance far enough that you really feel it. You start playing with your edge right there. That's where you start to quake a little bit, like a leaf on a tree. This is muscle strengthening right here. This is the power. Flip your front palm. Send that arm straight overhead for reverse warrior. And now, cartwheel back into warrior two. Shorten your stance a little bit by heel toeing up just like a foot or so. Maybe you've got 3 feet between your heel and your back foot. Now straighten this front leg. This will create something of a triangle with your legs, and that's the position we're going into now. Keep your arms out and straight. Be sure you feel like your hips are right in line with your feet. Your hips shouldn't be back here, and they shouldn't be up here. They should be straight in line here with your arms straight out. Feeling like you're between 2 panes of glass. Feel an invisible string on your front fingers right here, and watch as it pulls you forward. Be careful of your hips here. You should feel like your hips are still between these 2 panes of glass. Not back here, not up here, straight in between. When your body doesn't let you go any further, then drop that right arm, send that left arm up into the air. Use your shin or your knee to open up your chest. This is a beautiful heart opening. And breathe. Send that gaze to the ceiling if it's accessible for your neck. Otherwise, leaving your gaze down towards the floor. If this feels easy for you, you can release the shin. Bring your hand to float in front of your shin and calf. And breathe. Breathe in the power and shine out your strength. Now on an inhale, shift your gaze towards your big toe. You're going to bend your front knee. Bring your left hand to your hip. Launching off of your back foot, come into half moon. Your foot is engaged. Your foot is as high up as you can get it, maybe to a 90-degree angle, maybe even higher to a 100-degree angle. You may need a book right here to help you with your balance, some sort of block. And when you feel ready, you can open up this left hand and actually open up the chest towards the wall. If you still feel balanced here, start shifting your gaze up to the ceiling. Breathe. Find your balance by checking the weight in your foot. Make sure that you are feeling your weight through the four corners of your foot. Check your knee right here. You can put a little micro bend in your knee if you need a little bit more balance. Check also that you're not feeling pain. If you're feeling discomfort, that you use your breath for. That is strengthening. But if you feel pain, put a micro bend in your knee. See if that helps. If it doesn't, then come out of the pose, back into warrior two or triangle. Bring your gaze down to the floor. Bring this top hand, your left hand, all the way down to the mat. This will shift your body, so now your shoulders are parallel with the floor. Use your back muscles here to really engage so that your chest is lifted as high as possible. Your left leg is still shooting straight back. If this feels easy, take the fingertips off the ground here. I'm going to shift back so maybe it's easier to see. Take the fingertips off the ground here into heart center. If that feels easy, open up into airplane arms. Bring the fingertips back down to the mat. And now bend this front knee and shift your weight to the back of the mat to catch yourself in a lunge. When you feel ready and steady here, bring both arms straight up overhead. You still should have a good bend in your knee right here, 90 degrees. You'll have tucked toes in the back right here. This is crescent lunge. Breathe. Let those shoulders come down. Now clasp your hands, send the arms back, the gaze up for a mini back bend. And on an exhale, cartwheel those arms all the way down to the mat. Shoot that right leg back to your left. We're in high plank now. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now we're going to take 3 expressive breaths here. To do that, we need some face movement so we can release all of that stress that sometimes we keep in our cheeks, even in our forehead. To do that, inhale and then motor your mouth as if it's a motorboat. Inhale here and release the head, shake it back and forth. Inhale again. On this third one, we're going to inhale and sigh. Inhale. You should feel a difference in your face now. Now, a small smile might come to your face a little easier. As we inhale this left leg all the way up to the ceiling. Now exhale the leg all the way through between and towards the palms at the front of the mat. Deep runner's lunge here. Shift your gaze to your back foot. Change your footing to a 45-degree angle. And when you're ready, steady, come up for warrior one. Your hips still should be towards the front of the room, squared toward the front of the room. Your knee is directly over your ankle. Check for those 1 or 2 toes. Your gaze is up so that your neck is long and your arms are shining towards those Colorado blue skies. Clasp your hands here. Send your arms back, your gaze up for a mini back bend. And now open your arms all the way into Warrior Two. Lengthen your stance here by heel toeing back a little bit so that you really are playing with your edge. Get as deep, as low into this position as you can really feel your muscles start to quake. Drop the shoulders here. Gaze over your front fingers. And breathe into this posture. Flip your front palm, send it straight up towards the heavens, and come into reverse warrior, this nice deep stretch. Come back into Warrior Two. Now shorten your stance a bit by heel toeing up till there's about 3 feet between your feet. Now straighten your front leg. This creates a triangle. Your back leg is at a parallel to your front foot. Your arms are out long. Your hips are right in line with your feet here. They're not back, they're not forward, they're right in line. Your pelvic bone is tucked under, your booty is tucked up and engaged. Arms out, feel an invisible string from this finger start to pull you in this direction. Be sure that your hips are still tucked. They're not out, they're not in, they're tucked right under and in line. When you can no longer go any further, drop that left arm, send your right arm to the sky. Use the hand on your shin to really leverage and twist your body open for a delicious heart opening here. Change your gaze towards the ceiling if that's accessible for your neck. Breathe and shine. If this feels easy for you, release the shin, let the hand float in front of your shin. The back of your hand will be pressing into your leg. Now shift your gaze down to your big toe. Bend your front knee here. Change your right arm so that you're grabbing your hip right here. Use your right leg to launch yourself into half moon. Be sure that your foot is engaged. Your fingertips are on the floor or a book. And when you feel balanced, you're drawing that right hip up towards the ceiling, that right shoulder up towards the ceiling. And then you are releasing your right hand and shining it like a sunbeam straight up. When you've found your balance there, you can begin to shift your gaze up towards your thumb. Release your right hand down all the way to the ground so that your body has shifted position now. Your shoulders are now parallel to the ground. But use those back muscles to really engage so you're lifting your chest as much as possible. This is Warrior Three. Stay here. Your hips are parallel with the floor. Your shoulders are parallel to the floor. And if this feels easy for you, release the fingertips. Come up so that your hands are at heart center. Play with your edge. Bring your fingertips down to the floor. Shift your weight back to catch yourself in a lunge. Be sure that you have checked your positioning, your angles, so that your knee is right over your ankle here. Your feet are hips width apart. When you feel steady, when you feel ready, come all the way up. Your toes are tucked. This is crescent lunge. Shrug those shoulders down your back. Really engage that right quadricep so that your hips aren't lopsided, but rather straight and even right here, square to the front. Breathe in the power. Shine out your strength. Clasp the hands here. Send the arms back, the gaze up for a mini back bend. And now cartwheel those arms all the way down to the mat. Send your left leg back to your right leg. We're in high plank here. On an exhale, chaturanga. On an inhale, upward facing dog. And on an exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet here, letting go of any of the tension. Letting your muscles remember all of that strength. Letting your muscles strengthen, become strong, feeling that power. On an inhale, we'll do an expressive breath and motor all of your exhale here. Now on an inhale, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, your back flat. Hands to shin. Exhale down to forward fold. Inhale all the way up to standing posture, Tadasana, mountain pose. And on your next exhale, exhale your hands to heart center. Now we're going to go into some seated positions. To do that, we will go through our vinyasa flow. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, hinge forward and swan dive to forward fold. Inhale, flat back, hands to shin. Exhale, send that right leg straight back, deep runner's lunge here. Send your left leg straight back, high plank. On an exhale, come down to chaturanga. On an inhale, upward facing dog. On an exhale, downward facing dog. Now you can step your way through, or you can open the hands a little bit, widen where your hands are to the edges of your mat. Take a deep squat here and jump into a seated position. We're going to scoot back. Send your legs straight forward. Remove any of your extra cushioning and that delicious bum. Keep your spine straight, shining through your crown here. Engage your abdomen. On an inhale, inhale your hands overhead. On an exhale, bend those knees here. On your next inhale, inhale your legs up. Exhale. Your hands can come down. They can come down behind your thighs. If that feels easy, straighten your legs. If that feels easy, release the legs altogether. Let your hands float. Engage the abs. Engage the quads. You can point your toes here. Use your breath. And now with control, lower the legs and the chest all the way to a reclining position on the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Now bend those legs until you can feel your heels with your fingertips. Once here, You're going to keep your shoulders on the mat. You're going to keep your gaze towards the ceiling. And you'll shoot only your hips straight up to the ceiling. Now clasp your hands underneath your body. You can begin to roll onto the tops of your arms, onto your shoulders, for a little bit more engagement here. Sending those hips, even that belly button, higher. This is a mini back bend that we're working up to here. So we can really prepare our body for a bigger back bend. That bigger back bend is wheel position. If you feel like you have the upper body strength and the energy still, unclasp your hands and let's go into wheel position. Take your hands right next to your ears, palms down. Inhale here, and on an exhale, come all the way up into wheel. Be sure that you're magnetizing your knees together, so they shouldn't be out here. You should be magnetized together. Not touching, but just hips width apart. Head is loose, neck is released. On an exhale, come back down exactly the way you came in and with control. Coming down from wheel into bridge pose. And now from bridge pose, coming all the way down to the mat, releasing your hips, releasing your legs. Shake out those legs here. Now change your legs to make a diamond with your legs so that the soles of your feet are touching. You should feel a nice hip opening here as gravity takes your knees as far down as they will go. You can change your hands. Put your hand on your belly and your heart. This is Baddha Supta Konasana. This helps release all of that tension in your back. Helps your muscles memorize that strength, that power, that position. We're also opening our hips here to prepare for our next pose, a twist. Bring the soles of your feet to the mat so that your legs are like mountains coming out of the mat, bent at the knee. Let's bring both legs up into the air. Bring your arms down by your side, palms down this time. Now with control, we're going to send those legs down to a 45-degree angle. And now as a count of 10, we're going to bring those legs all the way down to the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Release. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Now bring your right leg all the way up. Shine it straight towards the ceiling. Take your hands, place them at the back of your leg, wherever is accessible for you. That might be the back of the thigh. It might be the back of the calf. It might even be the foot. Breathe into this stretch, really opening up those hamstring muscles. Now here, bend your right leg. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Release that right hand straight out beside you. And now guide your right leg with your left hand over the left of your body to make a really nice twist right here. You should come down as far as you can so that both shoulders still touch the mat. If accessible, you can shift your gaze to your right. This pose does wonders for your internal body, really helping to kickstart your kidneys, livers, small intestine, big intestine. This twist also helps open up your chest. We call these heart openings. It also stretches out your hip muscles, your hip ductor even. It's a delicious pose. Bring your gaze back to the ceiling. Bring your knee and your spine back to a neutral position here. Hug both knees into your chest now. And release both legs out straight. Now on an inhale, bring that left leg all the way up. Shoot it straight up towards the ceiling. Heel is engaged, ankle is engaged, foot is engaged. Bring your hands behind your leg at your thigh or your calf, maybe even your foot. Notice that you do not want to bring your hands behind your knees. Breathe into this position, really opening up that hamstring. Bend the knee here. Release that left hand all the way out. Take your right hand to the outside of your left knee and guide that leg all the way over the right side of your body for a delicious twist on the other side. You want to bring your leg down as much as you can so that both shoulders are still on the mat. If accessible, shift your gaze over to the left. Breathe here. On an inhale, bring your gaze up to the ceiling. And on an exhale, bring that knee and that spine untwist back to its neutral position. Release the hands, release the leg. Now hug both knees to your chest here. And really make circles actually with those knees so that you can feel a massage along your sacrum. Start to roll the other way. To end our practice, we'll do one more twist, keeping your knees hugged into your chest. Take your right hand now to the outside of your left knees. Twist open all the way, letting your knees hit the floor. If your shoulder comes off the mat, that's okay. Twist open here. Send your gaze to the left. Release the pose, bring the knees back into the chest, bring the hips back down to the mat. Now take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and guide your knees over the left side of your body. If your shoulder comes off the mat, that's okay. Shift your gaze now to the right. On an inhale, bring your gaze back to the ceiling. And on an exhale, release your knees, bringing your hips back to the mat. Hug your knees one more time. Bring your head all the way up. Really give yourself a good hug here. And now release. Come down to the mat. This will be our final pose, Savasana. If there's any last pose you would like to do here, maybe a forward fold, maybe an intense west stretch, maybe fish pose, feel free to do that now. Then come down into Savasana, where your feet are at the angles of each corner of your mat. Your arms come down next to your legs. Check that your shoulders are down and relaxed. And here you can start scanning your body. The purpose of Savasana is to practice stillness of mind by practicing stillness of body. Here you really want to get into that liminal space between being awake and being asleep. The goal here is not to fall asleep, but rather to access alpha brain waves, so that you are accessing your subconscious, getting to know yourself better, and accessing that stillness of mind. We'll stay here for 2 to 3 minutes. Release, relax, enjoy Savasana. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes as you come back to this consciousness. Stretch your arms overhead, stretch out your toes, and roll over to your right side. Plant your left palm into the ground to leverage you up into a sitting position, keeping your eyes closed. Come into a comfortable seated position, spine straight, hands on your knees, palms up or palms down. Come back to that breath. Inhaling power and shining out strength. Take this with you throughout your day, throughout your days, and into your life. Remember that if we control the breath, we control the mind. If we control the mind, we control our thoughts
actions, controlling our thoughts and our actions when we can find that stillness. When we find that stillness, we can then find enlightenment. Bring your hands to heart center. And begin rubbing your palms, creating that friction, creating that heat. Now bring your palms over your eyes and begin to blink your eyes open into the soft space of your palms. Now bring your palms back down to your knees. Bring them up again to heart center. And I leave you with this. May you walk into this world with compassion from your heart. Compassion in your speech and compassion from your mind. Namaste. Thank you.